Hi, Pili. How are you?
I'm good. Hi. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
having me.
No, thank you. Thank you so much for taking time to speak to me on this program that I started, which is a space where I speak to artists that I've worked with or those that I admire and just learn a little bit more about what they're doing and how they started, and hope to share that with the audience, and hopefully that someone somewhere will be inspired or a new conversation will be started. So and I know that at the moment there's a lot happening in KZN, a matter of living that is urgent. so so I really appreciate you taking the time to have this conversation with me. So I'm just gonna jump right in and ask, what made you
Yes, let's
decide
do
to
it.
become?
Yes,
Yes,
ready.
I'm
Ready.
ready now.
I'm ready. I feel like I was in an exercise practice or whatever, gym, getting ready for this moment. I was
Ah,
looking forward for it. So yeah,
oh wow,
let's do
wow.
it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was saying, what made you decide to become an actor, a director, and a playwright?
Um, I I started as an actor in the township. I remember in the township there was a lot of Sarafina things happening, and my my grandparents didn't allow me because mostly these rehearsals were happening at Suku in the night.
Mm-hmm.
So then I then started making my own work, not knowing anything about theater, but I just wanted. I said I remember I said to myself, no, I know how to play different characters. I know how to change just like that. And I started making sketches and for churches, for competition and for galleries. And then I knew what I wanted to do. I think, but I didn't really know there was a career for it. I knew that when I watched Days of Our Lives and Bold and the Beautiful, I would mimic them and and imitate them and everything like that. And then fast forward to graduating as a drama student and getting into the industry, and that dream of wanting to be a famous actor was always there. And um, in my first 3 years as an actor was incredible. I really grew as an actor and I had great opportunities, but that stopped in a way that it was no longer challenging, and I didn't get the roles that I felt they would enhance me as a creator. I always felt when I go to audition, I don't fit a certain profile. I don't look like a person they um, customizing for, And I had a problem with rejection as well, and I felt something is burning inside of me. I need to tell stories that make sense to me. I need to tell stories that challenge me, that that make me excited. But also, most of all, I need to tell stories that I recognize myself, this woman in this body, this mind. I can be anything, but this woman. And therefore, I started then. This is was like when, yeah, after 4 years and as an actor. And then I decided, no, I'm gonna direct, but not direct, but I wanted to tell a story. And then I watched a film called Hard Candy, written by, I think, Brian Nelson. And I thought, oh my gosh, that's the story I want to tell. That's what I see. That's what I want to see on stage. And then we contacted the writer, Brian, and he gave us the rights and he read the adaptation I did. And then there was my first play, and that was my first directorial debut. And from there, I never looked back. And that was 2014.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Wow.
never looked back. And I think I, I've always wanted to be a storyteller. I've always wanted to hide my reality, always. Didn't want to let people know what was wrong with me. because I had a lot of things happening behind the scenes, and I knew how to hide that. And as a young kid, I learned how to lie very, very well. I learned how to live a lie as well. And I took that as a talent, I guess, as a burn to tell stories. But also, I didn't like my situation, the way I grew up and where I grew up. I've always, as a young girl, didn't like when I look at my house and I'm like, ish, no, no, I want to live next door. So what I would do, I would escape in my mind and in writing as well. I would live always, I think, also a sense of survival, I guess. I've always wanted to not live in my reality. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, it
And
makes
I took that in. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I took that in. I took it and I went with it. Also, but not, I didn't make the decision in saying, oh, I want to be a writer. Oh, I want to be an actor. I just did it. I just did it to lie, to escape, to escape punishment, to escape being hurt, but also to escape my reality as well. Because I couldn't change how we lived the kaya, you know. But I knew that in my mind is strong. It changes and changes every chemical in my body, that I can live somewhere while I still, you know, at home.
Mhm.
Oh gosh, I'm gonna ramble. I ramble. I'm gonna keep talking.
It's all right. It's your time now. Did you talked about the difficulties you face in terms of being in a space where I'm sure even at school the text that you were being taught did not have stories about your people or stories about people that look like you, and also even in terms of a custom kind of person that they were looking to cast in plays. What other difficulties did you face in your journey as a creative, as a storyteller?
Oh my god. I think making realizing there was a problem with how the industry was functioning, that I and realizing that I did not understand why I keep not getting what I want, and why am I hearing no all the time? Why am I and that made me become my own obstacle, that I judged myself because I could not have an access communication with the person, the producer who was saying no. Then you end up coming back to yourself. It's okay, Shruti, I'm the one who is a problem because I have dark skin, I have crooked teeth, I have natural hair, I'm a big girl. So maybe I'm a problem. And then this and that and that and this. Um, that was one that I could not tell, I could not get a space that allowed me to be um, a full-fledged performer, because my acting is my first love, you know. And not to be given that space to be just that because of how you look. And it was not about my talent. It was not about, I went to school for this. I kept on saying, I went to school for this. I respect work, but I did not know why. And so I had to deal with that, I think, myself, because I could not change people's minds when it comes to money, to their decisions. These people who are, excuse me, it's my daughter, um, but it's mine. So you can cut a half. Okay, just smell like half. Just asking for a burger. Lord, sorry. That's the reality of being a
That's the
mom.
reality. I mean, the reality of living and working from home during this time. It's like your home is your office, and it's also your home where you have to live, where you're living, and having those boundaries. Sometimes they blur, they become blurred, and sometimes it's absolutely fine because it is the reality. We can expect something that is rigid to say this is the office space, this is the home space. They shouldn't mix because that's impossible. How?
That is impossible. No, that's true. I was in another meeting, and this lady was breastfeeding.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
I thought it was beautiful.
That
That's the reality.
that is a reality, and Yeah, I remember there was a meeting that was supposed to have, and one of my team members has got a child who's probably a year and something. And she didn't have help at home, so it was just her and the baby. And she was like, I'm not going to participate in the meeting because I have got a child. And I said, but no, we all know you've got a child. So we shouldn't be surprised when we see a child popping up on your screen because you have a child. And
Yeah.
we have to take you as you are, and not say if we're in a formal meeting you can't cater to some pressing needs within the environment that you are in. It doesn't make sense.
Mhm.
We are human. We have to see each other as humans before we think about protocol.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
It's changing though. It's changing now. I see that many meetings that we're having, they allow normality, you
Mhm,
know,
mhm,
um, because it's the times we are in as well. You know, as you just said beautifully, that your home is your office, but
mhm,
your child who's 7 years old, 5 years, 4 years old, no,
mhm,
they this is their home. You
mhm,
know, it's not
mhm,
an office. This is their mom. It's not
mhm,
a you know an actor or a director. It's just mom. And mom,
mhm,
I'm hurting. I need new mom. And so you're like, okay,
mhm. Yeah,
that
yeah,
respect.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, true. True.
Yeah. So yeah, so you were talking about the difficulties that you faced.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So mostly was that the no, and not getting spaces that allow me to be a performer. But
Mm,
also I can't deal in anything that I do, even now, even today, I can't deal with rejections. I can't deal with a no.
mhm,
and 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 I kept, you know, school, drama school did not prepare me. I don't want to say us because I don't know with the others, but with me, oh shame. It did not prepare me. I mean, I wanted to be a star, you know. And worse, when I even got best actress, I'm thinking, hey, industry, look at me, I'm coming, you
mhm,
know. But people saying no, you're
mhm,
not getting it because you're not good enough, or no because you don't fit the profile. I couldn't deal with that. But
mhm,
another obstacle has to be funding as well. Like
mhm,
anywhere in the country, I think every artist knows this. This is part of, I don't know, building a thicker skin. I don't know how, but the funding has been such a problem, and using spaces and access and institutional theaters that do not open their doors to creators, but they would open doors to their friends and partners from Australia. I'm like, Australia, why are you here? Like, sorry. So
mhm.
problems like that.
Yeah. I think that last one, that last example you gave is very personal because you're like, hey. Ow. Yeah. Uh, mm, yeah.
No, I'm trying to hold my mouth, but I'm gonna say a lot of things, and I'm like, oh, husa, gonna just do this, because no, I
Mm,
will never understand why would that happens. A
mm,
space created for artists in that province, but
mm,
it's not given to those artists, but
mhm,
it's given to something, someone, something else.
mhm,
I'll never understand that. But those were the obstacles that kept coming my way, and I learned to. The thing that I've learned about, no, it's not to fight the obstacle, not because my job is not here to change someone's mind, to control. I will never be able to do that, but
mm,
to how to channel that no, or how to channel that obstacle to push me in a way.
mhm,
And I've been hearing that a no is a practice for something, something, something. Rejection is giving you time to make it, and it's somehow it's very true. because those no's, I'm looking at the no's that I got and where I am, and because of that no, that happened. But in the minute you hear the no, you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, you
Mm-hmm.
know?
Absolutely.
So yeah, so but now I'm sitting here, I'm thinking all these no's were preparing me for this moment where I am in my career, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's in retrospect, yes, you can they say, yeah, it was. But when you're in that space, sometimes you're in a space of fragility where all you need is just a yes so that you can keep on holding on to the space. And all you get is a no. So sometimes also maybe getting to a place where you have to find the resource within yourself, like what you're saying, a resource within yourself to actually then say, you know what, you said no, but I'm gonna keep going. So
It boils down to that as well. It pushes
mhm,
you to go there,
mhm,
because if you keep hearing no, and then remember the burn that I spoke about earlier. The burn is still there.
mhm,
They yearn to keep telling stories. It's there. It's growing. While you're growing, it's growing, and if it has no room to
mhm,
explode to,
mhm,
I think I'm
mhm,
gonna be a sad, sad person. I'm gonna be a sad, sad person. Hence now every artist in South Africa is creating their own space.
mhm,
Every artist is producing their own work,
mhm,
because there's no space, there's no platform, enough platforms that will allow them to explode or to vomit out their work, you
mhm,
know.
mhm,
And it's Katela to hear no.
mhm.
Well, for me,
Yeah. Yeah. And
yeah,
also, I guess also it will be a matter of also looking at where a person is coming from. Whilst for some people, maybe the road might have been paved nicely and smoothly, but for some, if your road has been long and arduous and difficult, and you have a lot of things that you have had to overcome, then coming into a space where you think, oh, finally, I'm going to get those opportunities to really then tell my
uh-huh,
story, and then
uh-huh,
there is
yeah,
that where you're told, no, this space is not for you. But I love what you're saying about how artists within your space are now creating space for themselves. And
mhm.
yeah, and I guess maybe that also then points me to the other thing, to my next question, which is, did you were there any opportunities that came your way during these times of no, or do you also have supporters, or did you have like community that you could rely on as you were in your creative journey?
Yeah. That question is harder to answer, because it now in 2021, and then I could really easily answer that, because I have more um, communities now. But in 2016, it was, yo, there was such a lonely time as a creator. Now, 21, you need a community. And, South Africa has I don't want to say, has a tendency to be known as an ignorant country, but wherever I went to, that's what I heard. And I find that to be true and also not true. Because if you say South Africa, then you are generalizing, but if you say one person from South Africa, particular person did this and this and this and this and that,
Yeah.
then I can agree to that.
Mm-hmm.
But as soon as I realized that I'm tired also of hearing no, but also I'm tired of being alone, feeling alone in this journey of rejections. Do just an easy thing.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know any other person who has been rejected
Mm-hmm.
um, to a show?
Mm-hmm.
How did they deal with that? Do you know any other person who has their proposal has been rejected? How do they come back? And
Mm-hmm.
um, um, uh, uh, I needed access to people who have experienced this thing,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And in 2016, 17, 18, it was in 2014, 2012, it was hard, because you felt you were alone. And that's where social media came in as well. I'm thinking, I need a community. And now sitting in this chair, I have a writers community. I have a playwrights community. I have a theater community. I have an institution that supports me with my brain and my academia side. So it took me so much knocking on doors. Luckily, when I knocked, they didn't say, no, I didn't get no, I found similar people with similar spaces like me, that they need a community, they need a village. I'm tired of being a writer alone. I'm tired of feeling as if I'm a playwright alone in South Africa, So I think then that's how AWPN came about. Also, that's how Khwa Hadithi Zethu came about. It's a writers group that I'm in. And it's just social media. Some of them have never met these people. the other writer who just came in, Degwa, he's a Kenyan writer. We are such good buddies. And we met in this writers group, social media. And you have to put yourself out there, open yourself to vulnerability and saying to be alone. Is there someone like me who has went through this or going through this, and let's come together. And that's it. There's a group that I'm in as well, it's called WTF, and there you don't want to know what's happening there.
Maybe I want
even my husband
is happening.
But it started as having a safe space where you can actually critique work without being apologetic. A space where you will not be judged to not know anything, where you're going to say, I do not know this, and I do not agree with this. That's what we call what the... we call it
WTF, yeah.
WTF.
I like
so
that.
It's a great place.
It's quite short and
pithy. No. Spaces. Yeah. And it started in my master's program as well. I found similar writers who were like me, queer writers, incredible writers who don't write, who don't conform into what normal writing is. Push boundaries, and I found those people. I found my people, and no matter better way. If I do not understand what this reality is saying, I go to WTF. I'm like, WTF? What? Yeah, I mean, we need communities. We need you can't be alone,
Definitely. Yeah. It's and I think if there's any one thing that the pandemic taught us was that you cannot do this alone. You cannot do life alone. You need to have community. And as a creative, it's even more important to have a village that you belong to, that will uplift you, that will support you, but that will also challenge you to be a better creative, to be a better person as well.
Yeah, true.
Exactly.
No, I agree.
Yeah.